Good morning, everybody, and welcome. My name is Teresa Agustinelli, and I'm one of the Programming and Outreach Specialists at LibraryLinkNJ, a librarian at the Bankhere Library at Brookdale Community College, and the coordinator of today's events. My pronouns are she, her. Before we get started, I just want to mention if you could change your name in your profile to your first and last name just as you registered, because Misoon is working right now to assign you to the breakout rooms that you chose at registration. So that'll make it possible for her to do that. If you have your library listed, you would have to stay in the main room, so we wouldn't know which room to assign you to. Thank you. So on behalf of LibraryLinkNJ and our numerous co-sponsors, it is my pleasure to welcome you to today's event, the Information Equity Conference. I'd like to give a special thank you to my colleagues Misoon Liu, Darby Malvey, and Ralph Bingham for all of their hard work on this event. Today's program will consist of a keynote, lightning talks, and moderated roundtable discussions. Participants will gain skills to start developing an action plan to address information equity in their library communities. Here are some of the thoughtful responses to our pre-survey questions. What does information equity mean? It's the fair and reasonable distribution of information among individuals and groups. This doesn't mean that everyone gets treated the same way, but it means that you tailor the experience so that everyone can have access to the information they need. What do you hope to learn at this conference? How to serve underserved populations and make sure they're able to access the information that they need. The full results are listed on our keynote Padlet, which I will share in just a few moments. My hope is that we work together to further explore these issues together today and into the future. Here are a few housekeeping tips. Please mute your microphone if you are not presenting. Please feel free to communicate via the chat window. I am dropping a link to the keynote Padlet into the chat window soon. Please feel free to add notes and resources there by clicking on the plus symbol on the document. Please feel free to post on social media using the hashtag Information Equity 21. And now it is with great pleasure that I introduce our New Jersey State Librarian, Jennifer R. Nelson. Jennifer Nelson holds a bachelor's degree from the State University of New York at Buffalo and a master's degree in Library and Information Studies and a master's degree in political science. Oh, please mute your microphone. In political science from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. She was named a Library Journal Mover and Shaker and has been honored by the Minnesota governor with the Governor's Award for Continuous Improvement, among other accolades. And now here's our New Jersey State Librarian, Jennifer R. Nelson. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. That's a very nice welcome. I appreciate that. I'm not sure who's doing the slides, but if we could move ahead one. Thank you. I was asked to do this presentation. This is my first time, as most of you know, in New Jersey for the Information Equity Conference. And as I was thinking about a way to kind of kick things off and how to get things started, and obviously I wanted to say thank you first off for the invitation. I'm really looking forward to the day and the variety of speakers that are going to be talking about concepts related to equity. And as I started thinking about equity, I started thinking also about justice. And I have up on the screen here, you're probably all familiar with some version of the equity image of different size platforms for different size people to get where they want. But I also included the justice one, and you'll notice that that one shows us equality. Everybody has the same thing. Equity, people have what they need, but justice really being where we take the barriers away for people. So as I think about today, and as I think about the work that we're doing, I would encourage you to kind of keep in the back of your head this notion of justice as sort of what we're looking to get to through information equity. What I found an article by Kay Matheson, who's a faculty member at, I want to say, University of Arizona, and she has defined informational justice as justice for persons and communities in their activities as seekers, sources, and subjects of information. And I think through the day this morning, through the day today, we'll be touching on all of those people as seekers, sources, and subjects of information. I also, as I thought about that, I thought, well, she's kind of begging the question of what justice is because she's using it as part of the definition. But later on in the article that I was reading, she talks about it. A just distribution of access to information is one where every person has sufficient access to exercise his or her basic capabilities. So really looking at that notion of capabilities is driving what people can have access to. So it's not just access, it's the capabilities as well to use the information or to identify it. So I would encourage you as you're going through the day today to think about not just what equity planning can look like, but what planning for equity and justice could look like. I hope that everyone that's joining us today has a wonderful experience at the conference. I will turn over to Juliet Machie. Juliet is the Executive Director of New Jersey Library Association with over 25 years of experience in leadership management, policy advocacy, and program development. She's my favorite kind of librarian. She's done everything from being a circulation supervisor, children's librarian reference coordinator, academic director, of public services, and a deputy director. Juliet, as most of you know, recently served as the interim executive director of LibraryLink Jersey, and it's my pleasure to welcome her to the gathering this morning.
Thanks so much, Jen, and good morning, everyone. Thank you to LibraryLinkNJ, to all the partners that collaborated to put this program together today, including NJZL and NJLA's committees and sections. I wanted to share with you today some reflections about what information equity means to me. From my perspective, information equity is the harvest from the seeds we plant through policies and resource decisions as reflected in our programs, in our services, and in our collections. To be clear, information equity represents the manifestations of the lenses from which we as information service providers view who we serve and who is deserving of the services that we provide. Information equity can be viewed both internally, looking at ourselves, and externally, looking at what we need to further achieve information equity in our libraries. As an advocate and the voice for New Jersey's libraries and library workers, the New Jersey Library Association works hard to represent our issues, both internally and externally. This year, for example, we amplified the need for digital equity, and we were successful in securing a seat at New Jersey's Broadband Study Commission. Our goal is to ensure that more resources are appropriated to libraries to support our efforts in bridging digital inequities in the communities we serve. Today, however, I am hopeful that this Information Equity Conference will focus our efforts on those things that are within our control. And those are the seeds we plant through policies and through resource decisions in our programs, in our services, and our collections. These seeds that we plant to advance information equity also includes the attitudes that we display to the variations in the communities that we serve. And so I ask you, who is sitting on your library's chairs? Who lives in your communities? Who is in your community that is not sitting on your library's chairs? To what extent do your material selection decisions represent the needs, the interests, the passions, the histories, and identities of the communities you serve? Do your policies for library cards accommodate all segments of your population? And are you willing to challenge your mental shifts and hierarchies while providing services to different groups and cultures within the communities you serve? I am proud of the work that we have done to make our libraries welcoming and inclusive. The questions I just asked are not intended to indict. Instead, they are meant to be used as tools to always evaluate and continue to do more in our efforts to advance information equity. In most landscapes, but especially in the arena of information, I define equity as intentionally developed, openly supported combination of pathways to achieving excellence and respect, where everyone can meet his or her maximum chosen pursuit without the undue and covert hindrance of institutional privilege. I don't have the time to unpack this definition today, but I hope that it offers transport for us to move from dialogue to action. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here today to reflect on information equity. I wish you many insightful and actionable deliberations today. It is now my privilege to introduce our next speaker, the Executive Director of LibraryLinkNJ, Ralph Bingham. Ralph began his tenure as Executive Director of LibraryLinkNJ in 2021, after serving as the Director of the Gloucester County Library System. Before being appointed to Director in 2018, Ralph was Head of Reference and Digital Services and Project Manager for Maker Studio at Gloucester County. Ralph has advanced so many innovations in the field of library services. He received his BA from the University of Delaware and his Master's in Library and Information Science from Rutgers University. When he's not working, Ralph enjoys nonfiction, traveling, and nature photography. Please make welcome Ralph Bingham the third.
Hi, thank you, Juliet. Good morning. I'm going to make sure I pop up on the screen here. Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. I am here to learn today. I am not an expert, and I'm really looking forward to hearing from everyone who has offered so much of their time today to do lightning talks and moderated discussions and presentations. So I'm not going to take a lot of time trying to define information equity for you, because I really want to learn from all of you. I really want to also thank all of our co-sponsors. Teresa we put up a slide up earlier today. We have many NJLA sections here represented, New Jersey State Library, New Jersey Association of School Librarians. Thank you all so much for all of your time and effort that you've put in to creating presentations and talks for us today. Thank you, Juliet, for those words. I'm going to have to go back and look at the recording so I can hear that again. And thank you, Jen Nelson, for kicking us off today with getting us started and thinking about how we can take action as we promote information equity in our libraries. And one more thing I'd like to say before I introduce our keynote speakers, I want to specifically thank Teresa Agustinelli for all of the hours, all the effort, hours over many weeks in putting this event together. Thank you so much for your dedication in getting this going today.